We're bigfooting along the Snake River. The Snake River seems to be an epicenter of Bigfoot activity. The Snake River runs from Yellowstone all the way down into Idaho, and it curves around the bottom midsection of Idaho, curves back up along the border, and eventually meets up with the Columbia River in Oregon. The Columbia River bisects Oregon and Washington as it goes out past Portland and empties out into the ocean. These rivers are a great avenue or highway for Bigfoot to travel from state to state, from the Pacific Northwest into the Rocky Mountains. We've discovered that there's a lot of Bigfoot sighting reports, and there's a long history of Bigfoot sightings along this river and side rivers and creeks that empty down into it. I'm going to give you a couple of Bigfoot sighting reports that happened around the turn of last century. One of them is from the Dubuque Telegraph-Herald. It's a 1902 sighting report that made it into the newspaper back then. And then there's another one in the River Press, and that one happened in 1882. I would like to show you how there is a long history of Bigfoot sightings. This isn't something new, it didn't get into pop culture and then people started making up these stories. I mean, this was happening for centuries since Europeans discovered the Americas. And actually, the Vikings supposedly made it to the Americas first, many centuries before the Europeans did, and they talked a breed of large hairy creatures, so perhaps these Bigfoot sightings even go back to the time of the Vikings. I'm going to give you the oldest sighting report out of a Idaho newspaper. The reporter is Haley Times out of Fort Benton, the River Press. This was reported November 1st, 1882. Two cowboys see and chase the solitary savage of Snake River. Two cowboys who were just in from Camas Prairie related an experience which will probably go a great way toward reestablishing the popular faith in the wild man's tradition. On the first day of this month, two cowboys searching for cattle lost in a storm passed over some lava crags and were startled by suddenly seeing before them the form which is often described to them. They were so terrified that they sat up on their horses and looked at it in dread. Mustering courage and drawing their revolvers, they dismounted and gave chase. The strange being skipped from crag to crag as nimbly as a mountain goat. After an hour of pursuit, both young men were so utterly worn out that they both laid down, seeing which the wild man gradually approached them and stopped on the opposite side of the gorge in the lava flows, from which point he regarded the cowboys intently. The latter would not shoot, as they considered it would be unjustifiable, though they kept their pistols ready for use, while carefully returning the compliment through inspecting the phantom of the Snake River. The wild man was considerably over 6 feet in height, with great muscular arms which reached to its knees. The muscles stood out in great knots, and its chest was broad as that of a bear. Skins were twisted about his feet and ankles, and a wolf skin about his waist. All parts of his body could be seen were covered by long black hair, while from his head the hair flowed over his shoulders in coarse tangled rows and mixed with heavy beard. His face was dark and swarthy, and his eyes shone brightly, while two tusks protruded from his mouth. His fingers were in the shape of claws, with long, sharp nails, and he acted very much as a wild animal, which is unaccustomed to seeing a man. The boys made all kinds of noises, at the sound of which he twisted his head from side to side, and moaned apparently. He could not give them any back talk, so wearying of eyeing him, the two boys fired their revolvers, whereupon the wild man turned a double somersault, and jumped 15 feet to a low bench and disappeared, growling terribly as he went. The wild man, no doubt, does as the Indians did for subsistence in the area. They believe it lives on camas root, which grows wild in the area, and he no doubt kills young stock, as many yearlings and calves disappeared mysteriously and then nothing but skeletons were ever found. The boys at the stock camp are arranging to go out on a scout again to overtake him. Being provided with lariats, they will lasso him and bring him to Haley to deliver him up to the county authorities. This was reported in 1882 in the River Press paper. And obviously, the boys did not go out and capture the wild man. Of course, they did not shoot the wild man because his appearance, he was human-like enough that, just like modern people, they don't take that shot because they think they may be killing another person. I mean, even though it's not completely like a person, it's enough that, most people don't want to murder another man. And then if they take that chance and Bigfoot does turn out to be related to people very closely, is that gonna be a murder charge? Are you gonna spend the rest of your life in prison for shooting this creature? So even in 1882, people were very cautious about shooting the creature, and I don't blame them. If it looks enough like a person, I mean, maybe perhaps they share enough DNA with us to be considered another human. They describe it as a wild man, a phantom. I just love to see and hear about these older reports. I mean, this is before the Patterson-Gimlin. This is before the term Bigfoot was coined. My grandfather's sighting was 1930. He was very confused. He had never heard of these wild man, Bigfoot, what have you. And then the Native Americans have a long history of the creature throughout the Americas. A lot of sightings in the Rocky Mountains and the Pacific Northwest of this elusive giant creature. I would like to give you guys another report. This happened 20 years later near the Snake River. This article was in the Dubuque Telegraph-Herald, and it was in the newspaper Wednesday, January 29th, 1902. Pocatello, Idaho, January 29th. The residents of this little town of Chesterfield, located in an isolated portion of Baynock County, Idaho, are greatly excited over the appearance in that vicinity of an 8-foot, hair-covered human monster. He was first seen on January 14th, when he appeared among a party of young people who were skating on the frozen river. The creature showed fight, and flourishing a large club and uttering a series of yells, started to attack the skaters, who managed to reach their wagons and get away in safety. Measurements of the track showed the creature's feet to be 22 inches long and 7 inches wide, the imprint of only 4 toes. Stockmen report having seen the tracks along the range west of the river. The people of the neighborhood have sent 20 men on its track to try and capture the creature. In my opinion, this 1902 sighting, if the Bigfoot wanted to hurt or kill any one of these people, it would have. It was just scaring them off, perhaps its territory. Nobody got hurt. I hope you guys enjoyed. We'll keep bringing you Bigfoot sighting reports and traveling to the locations of the report. I hope you guys enjoyed places around the beautiful Snake River. Keep on watching. We're going to keep on squatching.